In this first chapter of the coach training series, we're going to take a look at how you would log into your coach account, how you would update and change your profile information, and we're going to take a tour around the home page of the Coach Locker. So, from the home page of your WordPress website, you can log into your account through a number of ways. You can go to the top right hand corner of the page and hit My Locker Login. If we head across to the booking system, we can see on the first page of the booking system how we're presented with a login pop-up. We can enter our username and password and hit login. Alternatively, we can also go to the login section here in the top right hand corner. It's now that we're going to enter our username and password, which will have been provided by the team at First Degree Golf Solutions or by your Academy Manager. Once we've logged in, if we look here in the top right hand corner, we have some headers: Logout, My Account, a profile image, and some other sections. Directly below this sections, we have three tabs: Academy Manager, Coach, and Pro Shop. Depending on the level of access you've been given by your Academy Manager, it may be that you see all three of these tabs. Currently, the Academy Manager is highlighted in blue, which means we're in the Academy Manager section. If you have a Coach account, the first section you will see will look like this. This is the My Locker homepage of your Coach section. And it may be you've only been given access to the Coach account, which will only be visible in the top right hand corner. And we also have a Pro Shop section. The Pro Shop section can be used by your front of house management team, and it may be that you have access to this section as well. So let's go back to the Coach account, as that's what we're going to focus on. So to begin with, let's learn how we can update our profile information and create a new password. So to do that, we're going to go to the top menu items. We can log out in this section. We also have My Account, which indicates that we're logged in under our Coach account. We have some social media icons, which if we click those icons will take us to our social media pages. We have a profile image, and then we have a plus icon. And it's the plus icon that we need to use to edit the information. Once we hit the plus icon, we can see how we've got some options that have now appeared in a drop-down. Along the top, we have personal details, profile, My Account, social media, and profile photos. So to begin with, the main sections that you will need to use is the personal details. It's within here you can edit your full profile. If we go ahead and click on the Edit Full Profile, and let's show you what areas you can edit. Within this section, you can edit your personal information. You can edit your email address. Be mindful that the email address that's put into this section will be where any booking confirmations are sent to for bookings made on the booking system or purchases made in the store. You can also edit your PJ status or job title. Please be mindful that the job title will also appear on the booking system and be visible to customers. The brief profile section is also visible to customers when they hover over your profile image on the booking system. Once you've edited any of the information, you can go ahead and click Update. It's also within that section that you're able to edit your password. To change your password, you need to go across to the Change Password tab. You enter your old password, add a new password, and hit Save. You're unable to edit your username within this section. The other section that you may want to get familiar with is the Profile Photos section. And the only image that you will ever want to edit may be your profile picture. And the profile picture will be visible on the booking system. You may need to consult your Academy Manager before doing this. So let's take a tour around the My Locker homepage. Along the top we have our sections within the locker, which will be covered in the future chapters of this training series. And it's within these sections that you may have a drop down indicated by the arrow. Going further down the page, you have an upcoming lessons tab. This indicates any upcoming one-to-one lessons or classes that may be booked into your schedule. You can see the places that are available, the places that have been booked, the date and the time of these classes or lessons. And you're also able to navigate to the lesson media section, which again is covered in more detail in future chapters. To the right, we have a quick view here of some of the key reporting information that may be useful to you as a coach. Let's take a tour around these areas and give you an explanation of what each area covers. As we navigate down the page, we have two sections, My Videos and My Photos. These are linked directly to your lesson media sections. You're able to add content through the lesson media option at the top, the local media, or you can also add videos or add photos from your home page. Scrolling further down, we have a short section called Things to Do. You can use this section to add a to-do list and reminders every time you log into your Locker account. You can also link your account to your Twitter and Facebook pages. And then if you scroll further down the page, you can view your coach schedule. You're unable to book lessons into your schedule through this section, and you need to use the Book Now option at the top, which again will be covered in the future chapters of this tutorial. However, what you are able to do is you're able to navigate your schedule by weeks, add leaves to your diary, so you can block out time in your schedule, and view daily notes. Part of the coach training series, we're going to take a look at how you're going to set up your schedule, set your lesson prices, and use the other functionality that exists within the schedule section. So we're here in the Coach My Locker homepage, and we're going to see here in the tabs along the top right hand corner, we have three different login tabs: Academy Manager, Coach, and Pro Shop. Depending on the level of access that you've been given by your Academy Manager, you may only see Coach or Coach and Pro Shop in this area. Your Academy Manager should have completed the necessary steps to set up the booking system ready to be used. So let's now head across to the schedule section. And we can see here we're now in the Coach Schedule homepage. We have our coach name, Joe Bloggs. And as we navigate down the page, let's just talk about what we can see here on the screen. So we have this section here button checkbox known as Private View Only. And the checkbox at the moment isn't ticked. However, if I was to tick this section, Private View Only, what that's going to do is it's going to mean that your schedule, this coach's schedule that we're looking at here, wouldn't be visible to those customers who are either visiting the booking system for the first time or any customers that are logging in using their account. So to show you what that looks like, let's go across to our front-end website, and if we go to Book Now, and we're going to choose one of our one-to-one lesson options, which is this one here, and we're going to choose a lesson time, and we can see here that we've got 4 coaches that are visible in the booking system. So if I'm a first-time customer looking for a lesson, if I was to choose coach number 2, for instance, their schedule and availability would appear here in the calendar, as we can see with the green times that indicate that these lesson times are available to be booked. However, if I navigate across to Joe Blogs, it then appears with a pop-up, and the pop-up indicates that this coach's schedule is set to private view, and that for a customer to book a lesson with this coach, they need to call the mobile number that is added to the profile section, which we'll cover later in the training series. So, if you're not looking for any customers to make bookings using their own account or when using your booking system for the first time, then you would set this to private view only. You may also set this to private view only if there's a period of time when you're working on your locker account and you didn't want any bookings to be taken. One thing to note on this, if we went across to the Pro Shop area, and the Pro Shop section allows any front of house staff at your venue or within your academy to manage bookings across all of your coaching team, they would still be able to book lessons with this coach despite his schedule being set as private view. So private view only restricts the schedule for customers who are using the booking system for the first time or logging in using their account. So, for the purpose of this training series, we're going to head back to the schedule section, and we're going to set the private view as unticked. So I want my customers to be able to book with me through the booking system. So the first thing that we need to decide on when we're setting up our coach schedule is we need to decide on the duration or the number of weeks that we want customers to be able to book lessons with us. So if we go to this button here where it says Add Coach Schedule Duration, and it's going to come up with a pop-up with a drop-down, and it's going to ask us to choose the number of weeks that we want to allow customers to book with us in advance. So at the moment it's set to 10 weeks, which means when someone goes on the booking system, they'll be able to visit, they'll be able to see available lesson slots for 10 weeks ahead. So you may want to only set this to say 4 weeks. You may only want to set allow customers to book 4 weeks in advance. Really, that's dependent on how you like to manage your schedule and you're going to manage your booking system. So I'm going to set mine to 8 weeks. I want customers to be able to book a couple of months in advance. We're going to hit save, and we're going to hit update. There we go. And we're going to see how that appears shortly once we've set up the rest of the system. The 2 sections here, add an ad hoc schedule and view ad hoc schedule, we're going to come back to that in a later part of this chapter of the training series. But if we scroll down, we now have some quick tabs that we can see. We've got students, total number of lesson bookings, and classes. And now if we scroll down, the next thing that we need to set up is to set our one-to-one lesson prices. So here we've got the one-to-one lesson price options that our Academy Manager has defined. And we can see here we've got 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, and 120 minutes. So we need to set some prices that we're going to attach to those lesson times. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go with 30, 40, 55, and we're going to go with this one, 100. And we're going to go ahead and hit save. And the record has been saved successfully. So the only prices that you're going to need to set are for one-to-one lesson prices, and there might be obviously some different options that are available on the booking system, depending on what has been defined by your academy manager. And whatever prices you see there, you just need to make sure you have a price attached to them. Any section which doesn't have a price attached, it will be defined as 0 on the system. So you just need to consider that potentially when you're setting up your prices. So the prices is now all done, and what we need to start now doing is adding our schedule, adding our availability. And to start with, we're going to do cover the option where you can add defined periods within your schedule and then use the leave functionality to manage times when you aren't going to be available. The section option that we'll cover is where you can use the ad hoc schedule functionality rather than adding a consistent schedule across your calendar. So to start with, let's start adding some availability to our schedule. So there's a couple of ways that we can do this. And it's really dependent on how your coaching diary is and availability is managed within your coaching business. So if we see here, we have a black box which says day, start time, end time, and add. So at the moment, there isn't anything visible underneath those columns and headers. So the first thing is we're going to go and add. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a schedule for every day of the week between 8 AM and 10 PM. I'm going to do that for every day. Okay, so we've got every day of the week added with a start time and end time, 8 AM until 10 o'clock. So let's scroll down now, and we're going to navigate ahead to the next week, just so we can see the whole schedule, and we can see how the whole of the schedule now has been opened between those times, 8 AM and 10 PM. So that's a good option when potentially your coaching schedule isn't sort of set. You have, you're not sure which days of the week you're going to be coaching. In one week you might coach on certain days, and other weeks you might coach on others. So having your schedule set to open just gives you the flexibility to start managing those times, but have your available times sort of ready to be used. So what we're going to see is if we navigate across, we can see all of these weeks are available, but what we can see is how the schedule duration is only set for 10 weeks. So 10 weeks time, Tuesday the 24th of September, we can see how there's no further schedule availability. So that would be defined up here in the add coach schedule duration. Okay, so let's go back to the week that we're on, and let's look at how we would best manage that situation now, as it's highly unlikely that you're going to want to be coaching between 8 AM and 10 PM each day. So let's go across maybe to the following week. So what would be the best way for you managing that schedule now is through the leave section. So if we look here, the leaves functionality in the coach schedule, we've got a button that says add leave. And essentially that allows us to just block out part of our schedule for a defined period. And if we click that button, we get a couple of options. We can do a full day leave, which is where the whole day that we designate will be blocked out and lesson times won't be available. A half day leave, which is obviously half a day. A short leave on this one just allows us to set a defined date, a start time, a return time, and then have a note in that leave just to remind us what the leave relates to. The next option is a management meeting. Again, the management meeting is very similar as the short leave. Again, you can leave a leave note, but on the schedule itself, it will come up as a management meeting. Or the other option, which is generally the most popular, is just to use other. And other allows you to set the time, the leave date, and the return time. but add a description which will appear on the schedule. So that's a really easy way of just knowing what the leaves relate to. So let's go ahead and add some leaves. So we're going to do one using the other, and let's say we're going to have in here shop hours, and the leave date is the Monday the 5th, and we'll go that we're working in the shop between 7 AM and 3 PM. There we go. We can see now on Monday the 5th we have our shop hours that have gone into the diary between those times, 7 AM and 3 PM. Let's add another one. Let's go with a full day leave. We'll go with the 8th. And we don't have to insert a start time and a return time. We just need to choose the end date, and the end date is going to be 1 day, so we're just going to do the 8th. So it's the 8th is the leave date, and the end date is the 8th as well. And we can see now how it's blocked out 1 day, the whole day in the schedule. And let's maybe use now the short leave on Saturday the 10th. And that might be sort of 3 PM until 10 PM. And the note we might put in there is, we'll just put meal out and hit save. Okay, so we can see how we've got a couple of different leaves now on the schedule. We have our other option on the leave, and the good thing about this one is you see that the description that appears on the schedule itself. We have a full day leave, so it's blocked out the whole day, but we don't know what it relates to. And also the short leave here, we don't know what it relates to, but it's another way of adding the leave. We can see if we click on the black time, the leave itself, it comes up with the description that the note that we added, as we can see there. So a couple of different ways of you doing that. Just bear in mind that the schedule is open on the booking system for 10 weeks. So you just need to make sure that if you add a schedule for the whole week between those times, that you need to go through your schedule and make sure you've got all those black leaves added on the times that you don't want to teach. So what we're going to do now is just go back and delete some of these times that we've added to the schedule. And what you may have is you may have sort of defined days where you're open for teaching, defined hours, and these are quite consistent, or you might have a consistent day off or time off that you're never going to be teaching. So what you can do again is you can just use the day schedules here that you've added, and let's just say on a Sunday, we know that we're never going to be teaching on a Sunday, so we'll remove that. And we know also on a Monday that we're always going to be working in the shop until 3 o'clock, so we'll set the start time as 3 PM. There we go. And let's say on a Thursday, sorry, we know we're going to be covering an afternoon time in the shop, so we'll set that 1 till 10. So we can see now if we go to sort of all those weeks we've got in our schedule, that those times that we've just changed are now not available on the schedule. So Monday mornings and early afternoon, Wednesday until 1 o'clock, and Sunday we haven't got any availability at all. So that's another way in which you can use the schedule to manage your diary. So let's now delete that functionality. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and delete all of the schedules that we added. There we go. And hit continue. There we go. So we've got all of those green times now removed. So if a customer went on the system, they wouldn't be able to book any lessons at the moment, as there isn't going to be any availability. What you may want to consider instead is, instead of opening up your schedule completely, is using the ad hoc schedule functionality here. So let's say that you have a pretty full-time role within your venue, or maybe in a retail shop, and you know that your coaching sort of availability is going to be fairly limited and maybe quite sporadic in terms of the dates and times. So what you can do is just use the ad hoc schedule functionality. So let's say we know that on Saturday the 3rd, we're going to have some availability to teach, 3rd of August. So what we can do is go into our ad hoc schedule, choose a start time and an end time. We can choose the scheduled date and hit save. And if we go down now, what we're going to see is how we have some green available times that have appeared now on the 3rd of August. So the ad hoc functionality just allows you to add windows of time for customers and yourself to make bookings when your availability may be more limited. So really it's a choice between using the schedule option and adding leaves for the times when you're not going to be available, or using the ad hoc schedule functionality if perhaps your availability is a lot more limited. So now that we've set up our prices and our availability on our schedule, we're now going to move on to, in the training series, to start to look at how we would begin to book lessons through the booking system and the schedule, how we would book places on classes, and also how we would apply different payment types to bookings. So let's to start with just look at how we would make a simple one-to-one lesson booking. So let's go through that journey. We're going to go from our MyLocker homepage, and we're going to choose the book a lesson option. So anytime we're looking to actually book a lesson into the schedule, we need to be moving to the booking system. So let's go into the book a lesson, and we can see here our program categories that have been set up ready to use. So from the Academy Manager training series, we set up one to lesson program type, which is this one-to-one and Swing Studio. And then we've got 3 other program types which relate to classes. So let's go ahead and just process a one-to-one lesson. So the first thing is you just need to click the tile where the cursor is visible, and it's going to ask you whether this lesson would be in the Swing Studio. So this will be defined by your Academy Manager depending on whether you have a studio space which needs to be booked. And it's really important, if you have a studio space, that you book the studio, as this will book the lesson booking in your diary, the coach diary, and also the Swing Studio itself. So let's go ahead and process one in the Swing Studio. So we're going to go ahead and hit yes. And we're then going to be presented with our lesson duration. So we've set up our prices for these lesson durations. We're going to go ahead and choose 30 minutes. And the next page we're going to be presented with is the coach options and the calendar. So we've already got here 30 minutes, which is visible. We can go back in and change that if we need to. And as we're logged in under the Coach Joe Bloggs, it's going to be pre-selected under Joe Bloggs' lesson schedule. If for any reason you're booking a lesson on behalf of another coach, then you can do this by simply hitting the single day view option, or by selecting the relevant coach by selecting the icon. So here we go in the single day option. It's now going to refresh the screen, and single day essentially means that we can now navigate the availability of all coaches on particular days. However, let's go back to week view, and week view is now going to allow us to look at specific weeks by specific coaches. So we're on the Coach Joe Bloggs, so we're going to look at making a lesson booking with Joe Bloggs. So we're now going to select Joe Bloggs here using the small icon, and what we're going to see underneath is the coach schedule starting to appear that we've added in the coach schedule section. So we decided that we were going to add some set coaching days. We can see here we've got availability on Wednesday, Friday. If we navigate to the next week, so we can see again we've got some availability Wednesday, Friday, and Monday afternoons. And again, this schedule will be available for the schedule duration that's been set. So we set the coach schedule duration to 10 weeks. So looking at what options we've got available now, we have 3 buttons here visible at the top. We have show list functionality, which allows you to search for available lesson times in a list format. So we know that we have some availability on a Monday, and we can see how we've got the coach selected as Joe Bloggs, and it's now given us a list of times that are available, and we can select one of those times from that list. We can navigate back to the calendar option, which will be the most popular, where you can see the available times in green, visible on each day of the calendar. Any of the grey times that you see here means that there's no lesson options available during those periods. So green times relate to available times, and grey times relate to unavailable times. If we navigate to the front-end website and we go to the Book Now section, and let's choose an identical journey. I'm going to go 1-to-1. Choose the same lesson time. Make sure we choose Joe Bloggs and navigate across to the same week. The difference that we're going to note on the system itself is that we have available in text visible on those lesson times. So we can see here that we've got available that's visible on those lesson times just there. So that's really the only difference here in terms of what you'll see on the schedule between those green and grey times as a coach. And the next 2 options that we then have available is a single day view and a week view. So the majority of time when you're booking a lesson for yourself, when you're logged in on your own coach account, it's going to be simplest and quickest to navigate across the week view. So here we're on the week view, and we can navigate across all of our coaching weeks and see our availability on each day. But you could also choose single day view, and single day view, when you click it, all of the coaches will now be visible on a set day. So let's say here we're on Wednesday the 14th of August, and we can see that coach number 2 has some availability. Joe Bloggs has got some availability after 3 o'clock, but coach number 3 and 4, they don't have any availability on that day. So that's probably more a functionality that would be used by the front of house team. However, you may need to use it at some point. But the majority of time, you'll be in the week view section. And when you're scrolling across to different lesson times, you can do that by using the arrows, which will search by week. You can also use the go to date option here on the left. So if you hit the go to date option, you can select a specific date. So let's go with maybe early September, Monday the 2nd. And the calendar will automatically refresh to that date or that week. So we can see here that it's going to refresh now to Monday the 2nd. And for any reason, if you're navigating through the weeks and then you hit today, it will automatically revert back to the date that you're looking at the schedule. So let's go ahead and process a booking. We're going to process a booking on Friday the 2nd of August at 9 AM, and all we simply need to do is hover the cursor over the green time and hit select. And we're now presented with 2 options. So we're going to have an option to book that time, 9 till 9:30, or we can make a recurring booking. So recurring booking is a useful functionality if you have a lesson or a student who likes to book for a set time repetitively on the same day. So what you can do is choose that time, which is 9 AM till 9:30, hit book recurring, choose the number of lessons you want to add. So let's say this customer wants to book 4 lessons, same day and same time, and we can then just choose the day and hit select. There we go, sorry, we just chose the week. The reason then that the day time didn't work is that we don't have our schedule open on Saturday, Sunday in our schedule. So we now proceeded through here to the final page, which is the checkout page and the player registration section. And what we can see here down the right is what we've booked. So we've got the date, which was the 2nd, coach name, start time and end time, and then we've got some recurring dates. So it lists the recurring dates here, which is the 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd. The cost of the lesson that we've added through our schedule is £30, total number of lessons, and then we're not applying any gift cards or discounts, and the total lesson cost is £120. So that would be the option to process a recurring booking. Let's just work down this page now, look at how we would fill in that player information, some of the limitations of when you do a recurring booking, and how you would then process that into the schedule. So we now have a couple of options here to complete the booking. We've got a select a student option and an add new student. So hitting the select a student will list any students that have pre-registered on our system. That's through using the store or through making a lesson booking. So we can choose one of those options if we know that it's someone who we've had on the system before, who might be a current student. However, if this is someone totally new to us, we haven't taught before, or they haven't used our new booking system, we can get them added to the system in a couple of ways. We can add the new student modal, which we see here, or we can simply fill out the player information options here. So let's go and give that a go. We're just going to make up a name. We now need to add an email address. And we're now going to need to create this customer a username and password. So the username, let's go with something that's going to be easy for them to remember. And the password, we're going to set the password as something which we're going to make a note of, and we can send that to the customer afterwards. So I'm simply going to set this one to password1 with an exclamation mark. So importantly, the customer will receive a booking confirmation after this. They'll also receive an account registration email, and the account registration email will list their username, however it won't list their password. So if you're creating this account on behalf of someone, you need to make sure that you tell them that the email address that you've either used on their account, or you can send them the password that you added, and then they can log in and change the password themselves. If you don't do that, then they can simply create a new password by going into the retrieve username and retrieve password options that will be covered in one of the student tutorials, and they can go about retrieving their password that way. The next section is adding a mobile number. If you don't have the mobile number, then as long as you fill in the section with some information, we can see here there's some red asterisks. The red asterisks mark the sections that we have to complete. And then we have two sections, student notes and internal notes. So the key difference is the student notes will be a note that will be visible to the student on the booking confirmation. The internal note will be a note that's visible within the schedule area for the coach and pro shop locker areas. So the student themselves wouldn't actually see any of the internal notes. So what you might want to do is in the student notes is just put, "Hi John, please meet at the driving range for each lesson. Thanks." And then we might want to leave an internal note, and the internal note be, "Hi team, please direct John to the driving range." And the final things we need to do is now add that to the bookings to check out the pages, get that added to the system, and we just need to choose from the payment options. So in the payment options, you're going to see a couple of options depending on how this was set up on your system. So you have a pay by debit or credit card, which will appear if you are linking your system to a merchant account and you're taking payments. The Pay at Academy option will simply allow you to process the booking without taking a payment, and then you can arrange for the payment to be received from the customer. And then you may have package or voucher. So the package option is going to be related to any lesson credits which the customer may have on account, whereas the voucher option will relate to any specific lesson vouchers that the customer may have. So credits relates to minutes that can be used against a lesson time, whereas vouchers relates to a single lesson that can be applied against a booking. So for example, if we're using the package option, which is the credit minutes, this customer may have 120 minutes in their account, which means they will be able to process this booking. We'll be able to process this booking using the package, as there's 120 credits that are required. Or if someone is using the voucher option, then they would need to have 4 30-minute vouchers in their account in order for us to process this booking. So we're going to go ahead and choose Pay Academy for this option. And in the billing section, we don't need to add a gift card code. We don't need to add a discount code. And the last thing we've got to do is just tick whether they agree to receive marketing information via email and SMS, and whether they agree to the terms and conditions and privacy policy. So as a general rule of thumb, unless you specifically ask your customer and you have a record of this, then don't tick the email and SMS options. Some new GDPR legislations that came out in relation to how you're using customers' data, but you can go ahead and tick the terms and conditions and privacy policy, as obviously the customer has agreed to make a booking with you. And then finally you have a review order, which is just giving you the information of what booking you're making, and if that's all fine, you can go ahead and hit book now. And we just give it a second, wait for the booking to be processed. And we now have got a confirmation confirming that the order's been processed with an order summary to the right. So if we now navigate back to our locker, scroll down to the bottom and look in our schedule, we're going to see how we're going to have 4 lessons that are visible in the schedule for John Stevens. So that just shows you how to make a recurring booking. The process for making a single booking is exactly the same. You would just choose that book now option rather than book recurring when we selected the lesson time. So let's go ahead now and look at how we would process a booking onto a class. So we've already covered how we would process a recurring booking or a single booking within the schedule. Let's now look at how we would process a class booking. So again, we need to navigate across to the book a lesson option. And we have here our program categories. But this time we're going to go ahead and process a class booking on a junior class. So we're going to go ahead and choose the junior class category. And we're going to go ahead and select golf camps. And we can see how we've got a class listed under golf camps. So we've got the date, the start date, duration, places that are booked, and the price. So at the moment we haven't got any bookings that have been made. But let's say we want to add someone who has inquired with us to this class. So all we simply now need to do is choose the class details button. We can go ahead and select that. And we can look down the pop-up here, the modal, and we can just review the information. And we're just going to go ahead and choose the add to cart option. And we can see now that we've got that class that's been added to our basket. So we can do one of two things now. We can check out, which will mean we'll proceed to the booking confirmation page, or we can continue to browse the booking system. So if we continue to browse the booking system, what it means is that we can go to potentially a new class. So let's say we wanted to also make a booking on this Junior Academy class for the same customer. We can go ahead and select the class details and add to cart, and we can see now that we've got both of those classes added to our basket. What you're unable to do is to process 2 different customers onto the same class. So each booking journey relates to booking 1 person onto a class. If we need to book multiple places on classes, we need to make sure that we're doing the booking journey as many times as required and adding a place under each customer. So we're going to go ahead and make those 2 bookings. We're going to reserve a place on the camp and also the Junior Academy class. So we're just going to hit continue. If at any time we want to do that, we can just go ahead and hit the checkout page. And again, the pop-up appears. And we're just going to go ahead and hit checkout. So we're now into the complete order section. And this time we're going to do things a little bit differently. We've already gone through how we would do that using the player information. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select a student. So we can do that just by hitting the select a student option. And we're going to go ahead and choose this customer here who already has an account, Demo Basic. We're going to hit book now. And we can see now that the player information has been filled in. And all we would need to now do is add any notes for the student or an internal note. Choose the payment option. So we're going to go ahead and pay at Academy. And we're not going to worry about gift card and discount code. And we're going to go ahead and hit book now. We'll give that a second. And we can see that the booking confirmation has now been finalized. If we go back into our locker section, and we'll find those 2 classes. So let's go ahead and find that camp. We can see here that any classes are added to your schedule as a yellow time. So this relates to a class. We can see here that we've got a red booking, which we'll cover in a moment in the next part of the training series. But we can go ahead now and select that, and we can click on attendees, and we can see how that customer has been added to the class. And also been added to this one here. There we go. So we've got that place reserved on the class for that student. So we're now going to move on to look at how we would process a booking using a gift card. In the training series in a later chapter, we're going to be looking at utilizing and using the store and the functionality that exists within that. And one of the functionality pieces is the ability to sell and manage gift cards within your academy. So we're going to take a look at now how we would apply a gift card to a booking. And again, we just need to navigate across to the book a lesson option. And generally, we're going to be using gift cards against one-to-one lesson bookings, but gift cards can be applied against classes. But for the purpose of this training exercise, we're going to apply a gift card to a one-to-one lesson booking. So let's go ahead and choose the one-to-one lesson option. This time we're not going to choose the swing studio, and we're going to choose a 30-minute lesson. We're going to select a new time, so let's go with 6 o'clock. And this time, instead of booking a recurring booking, we're just going to book a single lesson time. So we're going to go ahead and choose book now. And we're going to go ahead now and create a new registration. So let's go with a new student. And we're going to go down now and choose the payment option. So the payment option that we're going to choose is Pay at Academy. Again, we're making a booking on someone's behalf, so it's unlikely that we're going to be using a debit or credit card, and we don't need to use the package option as we know we're going to be using a gift card. So this time we're going to choose Pay at Academy. We're going to navigate down, and we need to now go to the gift card code box. So there's a few options that we're going to see here. We're going to see the gift card code box where we can add the code, a red arrow, which we're going to talk about in a moment, and then we've got the apply gifts button. So as this is a customer who doesn't have an account, we need to be adding the code. So Hopefully we're going to have the code that's accessible through the admin area, or you can get this from your Academy manager, or the customer may have sent the code to you in the contact you've had with them, maybe over the phone or over email. So what we simply need to do is we just need to add that code, which I've got there, and all we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and hit apply gifts. And we can see now that the gift coupon code has been applied successfully. If we navigate up to the top, we're going to see the lesson cost. It lists a gift card discount of £60, and the total lesson cost now is 0. The reason it's listing a gift card discount as £60 is that person has a £60 balance remaining on their gift cards. And what the system is going to do, it's going to deduct £30 off that gift card discount, as the lesson cost is only £30. So we're going to go down to the bottom and we're going to hit book. And we can see that the order has now been processed. So let's go back to the My Locker section. And we're going to see how the lesson has now been added to the schedule. So let's go back in now, and we're going to process another booking on behalf of that student. So what we're going to do is we're going to book another lesson time, and we're going to book them for the following Friday, and we're going to book them in at the same time as 6 o'clock. Hit book now. This time we can select the student, which was Tony Roberts, and hit book now. And we're going to scroll down, choose the Pay at Academy option. However, we know that Tony indicated that the system indicated that Tony had £60 on his gift card, and the booking that we made was for £30. So Tony should now have £30 balance left on his gift card that he can use to process this booking. So what we're not going to do is we don't need to add the code in again into this box. What we need to do now is just hit the arrow. And what we're going to see here is under Tony's account, it's automatically saved the coupon code. The total is 60, he's used 30 and he has 30 remaining. So we're going to go ahead and just tick the box and hit use gifts. And we just need to now navigate down to the bottom and hit book now. So Tony Roberts now wouldn't have any remaining gift card balance in his locker account. He's used his £60 gift card amount across those two bookings. We're now going to move on to cover how we would process a booking for a student who has a package or a series of lessons on account. So we've already spoke about how there's two options which will have been covered during the setup of your locker with the team at First Degree Golf Solutions, of choosing from vouchers or packages. And in this part of the training series, we're going to cover how you would process a booking of a package. So a package covers lesson credit minutes or a monetary amount. So let's take, for example, we were selling a package of 120 minutes of lesson time. 1 lesson minute is effective to 1 lesson credit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go across to the book a lesson section. And we're going to go to one-to-one Swing Studio. Choose no. We're going to go to 30 minutes. And we're going to choose the time that we want to book. Let's go with next Monday at 3 o'clock and hit book now. So we're now into the player information registration phase. So it's at this stage where we're only going to be using the select a student button. The reason being is that in order for us to apply a package to the booking, the package would have need to already have been applied to the customer's account. So you can do this as a coach, and this is covered in the store section of the training series, or a customer may have purchased this for themselves through the store, or potentially one of your front of house staff may have processed this through the Pro Shop area. So we just need to navigate across to select a student, And this student, John Stevens, has inquired about making a lesson booking, and I know that he already has some lesson credits added to his account. So what we can see here is we've got the cost as £30, and we've got the information here which relates to the booking that we're going to make. So what we're going to do now is that we're not going to select the pay by debit or credit card or the pay at Academy option. We want to be applying the package option to this booking so that we apply those credits and they're deducted from the student's account. So all we simply need to do is hit package, and what you'll see is a red arrow that appears, and it's the red arrow that you need to hit. And we can see here now we've got a modal with package details. So the lesson type is 1-to-1 and swing studio, the coach name, it's got a package code, total credits and remaining credits. So a few really important pieces of information to remember here that's useful for you and your customers. That the packages that are sold through the store relate to a specific lesson type and also to a specific coach name if those packages are being sold in a customized way to each coach. So why that's important is if a customer wants to use their lesson credits and they attempt to use one of the lesson type categories that the credit doesn't relate to, then they won't be able to see the credits on this page of the checkout. Also, if their package credits are also applicable to a specific coach and they try and book with another coach and they select this red arrow, they also won't be able to see the package option visible. So we're going to go ahead and we want to apply some of these credits. So we're just going to hit the radio icon and we can now see that we can apply the credits. So we're going to hit apply and we're going to go ahead and hit book now. You can see how the package number has been inserted, and we'll go ahead and hit book now. And very quickly, even though we're going to explore this a little more in the further part of the training series, if we went across to coach admin and vouchers, we can see here we've got John Stevens, lists some information relating to the package that is on his account, and just for confirmation we can see here that the original credits was 120 and we've applied 30, so now the balance is 90. So we can see that those credits have been successfully applied to John Stevens' booking. Back now in our My Locker homepage, and we're now going to move on to show you how to process a booking where a customer would be applying a voucher to their lesson booking. And as discussed previously, in your locker setup with the team, you have decided whether you will be offering packages, which is lesson credits and credit amounts, or you'll be applying vouchers to lesson bookings. So let's go ahead to book a lesson, and we're going to go and choose the 1-to-1 option, choose the lesson time, and let's go and book a lesson for next week. So let's go with next Friday, and we'll choose the appropriate lesson time, hit book now. And once again in the player information page, we're going to be using the select a student option. Again, to use a lesson voucher, the lesson vouchers will already have been added to this person's account, either through a store purchase or through the coach area or through the pro shop area. So let's go and choose select a student, and we're going to go ahead this time and choose Tony Roberts and hit book now. And we'll navigate down, and this time we can see here in the drop down we have the option to select voucher instead of packages. And again, we're presented with the red arrow, which allows us to tick. And this time we can see how it's different than the packages section, where we have a list of those vouchers that's in the customer's account. So on the store, it was set up as a 6 for 5 package, which is where the customer bought 6 lessons for the price of 5. And we can see we've got each lesson option listed here. So we've got 6 30-minute lessons. There's a little less flexibility with this option in that the only way to apply one of these lesson vouchers is to a specific lesson time. So we can see here that we've got the 6 lesson types with the coach, and it's for a 30-minute booking. So that's important again, as if your customer was in the booking system, they wouldn't be able to choose a different lesson category, they wouldn't be able to choose a different coach, and they also wouldn't be able to apply one of these vouchers to a 45-minute lesson or an hour lesson. The vouchers have to be used with specific lesson times. So let's go ahead and choose one of those. So we're just going to hit the radio icon, and all we need to do is hit return. We can see how the voucher number's been filled in, and we're then going to go ahead and hit book now. So let's navigate back to the My Locker section. This time we're going to go back to the vouchers section. And we're now going to see we've got Tony Roberts here listed with 6 for 5 package. And this time if we go across now here to the count and balance, we've got the count as 6, which means it relates to 6 30-minute vouchers, and the balance is now 5. So we can see the difference here in how the system is recognizing a package versus a voucher. We're now going to move on to look at how we would book a lesson in the past into our schedule. Using this function is really important if you forget to book a lesson in the diary. Perhaps you have an on-the-day booking that is made with a customer and you don't have the time in between the booking being made and the lesson taking place to put it in the schedule. A couple of reasons why it's important that you would do that is to ensure that your vouchers and packages are up to date with customers. And crucially, the schedule links to the reporting section and a lot of the information that you see here on your My Locker homepage. So what we need to do is navigate still to the Book a Lesson section. So previously we've covered how we would use the program categories in order to book one-to-one lessons and classes. But to book a lesson in the past, we need to navigate the cursor across to the Book a Lesson in the Past button here in the top right-hand corner. And we're now going to be presented with a pop-up modal. A couple of things to be aware of during this process. You're unable to book historical places on classes, and you're unable to, in this part of the process, to apply a payment type or a gift card or a discount code to the booking. So we're purely going to use this functionality to add that booking to the diary or the schedule, and we are then going to cover in the next few chapters how we would go into that booking and ensure that the payment type and the lesson price, etc. is set up correctly. So what we just simply need to do is choose the customer, the student, and we need to choose the lesson date, which will obviously be a date in the past. And we're going to choose the duration and the start time. So once we've done that, we just need to hit save, and we'll get a modal that's indicating that it's been added to the schedule successfully. If for any reason there's a clash with a lesson booking that's already in the schedule, then you'll be alerted to that via one of these messages. So let's now go to the My Locker section, and we'll navigate down to the schedule. And we can see how that booking has gone into the diary at 7 o'clock. So this brings us nicely on to now looking at the schedule and understanding what the colours relate to, understanding some of the other functionality that exists within the schedule, and how we would also make sure that all of our bookings are up to date with the correct price and the correct payment type added. So to start with, we're going to observe 4 different colours in our booking system schedule in relation to bookings. We've already covered how black relates to a leave that's been put in the diary by the coach or potentially the front of house team. And the grey colour here indicates times in your schedule when you are unavailable. However, we're going to have 4 different colours on bookings. We're going to have reds, greens, yellows, and also one that we can't observe here at the moment, which would be a purple booking. Purple bookings to start with would be applied to a booking which is made by a customer using a credit or debit card. So this would only apply and be visible to locker accounts that are linked to a merchant account, where you are taking payment or you're allowing customers to make payment through your booking system. Yellow colours, as we can see here, relate to the program categories that are classes. So anytime you see a yellow colour, this would be a class booking that's been added to your schedule. A red booking is a booking which is currently marked in the system as unpaid. And a green booking is a booking in the diary that is marked as paid. So let's start with the green times and how that would appear. The booking may be marked as paid if a customer has made the lesson booking, if they have potentially used a gift card amount, or they have applied a voucher or a package amount to the booking. Also, potentially, you will go into the schedule, and if you've received a payment directly to yourself, you will then go into the schedule and mark that lesson as paid. And we'll cover that in a moment. Red bookings would be unpaid, and that will be where a booking has been made by a customer or the coach using the Pay at Club option within the booking system. Or potentially you have added a historical lesson to the schedule. So we made that demo level 2 booking in the past, and as we're unable to add a payment type at that moment, the lesson booking has gone in as red. So let's start going through some of these bookings and making sure that we understand how to update the payment type and the prices, etc. So let's go into this one, John Stevens, and what we're going to start with is ensuring that you're able to update the price of a lesson so that it's correct within the schedule. Some of these scenarios will be covered in the FAQ and scenario booklet that you'll be provided with by our team. However, it's really important within the schedule that 2 areas are as accurate as possible. Firstly, the price that's associated to the lesson, and secondly, the time that's allocated to that lesson in the schedule. So let's say, for instance, John Stevens, the original lesson price was £30 that was put into the system, and that we delivered a lesson that covered that length of time. So we delivered the lesson that was 30 minutes. However, let's say for some reason John Stevens only paid us £25. We need to now go into this lesson booking and edit the price. So we would simply click on the lesson and we would hit edit price, and we can now just change the payment price within this section. So we're going to change it to £25 and we'll hit continue. And if we go back into the booking now, we can see how the price has changed to £25. So I'm happy with the accuracy of the length of time of the lesson. However, the price needs to be edited within the system itself. So the next thing we need to do now, as this lesson booking was a couple of days ago, we need to go into John Stevens' booking and we need to mark it as paid. So in this scenario, let's say John Stevens has paid us directly via cash. We're going to go in and we're just going to simply hit the mark as paid option. We're going to hit update, and we're then going to see a modal with 2 different options. The sub-payment types are cash and PDQ. So it's really important at this stage that we are always applying the payment type as cash for a payment that's been received directly to the coach. So some of you may have PDQ terminals where you're taking card payments. However, it's really important that even if you're receiving a card payment directly to yourself, you still mark that payment type as cash. The reason being is that in the reporting section, payments that are made via a merchant account, so a credit or debit card, will appear as a PDQ in the reporting. So if, for instance, you take a payment using a card machine yourself, and then you go into this section and you mark it as PDQ, the reporting section will highlight that as a payment which has been made through a merchant account, which may just affect how you're sort of structuring your relationship with a venue or academy, etc. So as a general rule of thumb, any payments that are made directly to yourself will be marked as cash. So in this example, we did receive cash, so we're going to mark it as cash and hit save. And we can now see how the payment type has changed to green. Okay, so what we're going to do now, let's go down to this next red time, Tony Roberts. And this time, The lesson is obviously marked as unpaid at the moment, and we're happy that the lesson price is accurate. We're happy that the lesson time was accurate. However, Tony Roberts decided that he wanted to pay with a package or a voucher, which subsequently he has potentially bought with you, and now we need to apply that to this booking. So let's go into his account. We're going to go on change payment type, and we get the option to pay via a card, which would only be relevant if it's linked to a merchant account. And we now have the two options, either voucher or packages. So let's go in and choose packages, see if Tony's got any information. Okay, he hasn't got any of those credits available. Let's go see if John Stevens here. So again, same scenario. We're happy that the length of time and the price is correct. Let's go change payment type. We're going to go with packages. Okay, so we can see here that there's an available package listed with me, Coach Joe Bloggs, for a total of 90 credits remaining. So this player has got enough credits in their account to apply this to the booking. So what we're going to do is, all we need to do now, this gentleman, John Stevens, has subsequently bought a package of sessions, and we need to make sure that we mark this session lesson as paid using those credits. So we go into change payment type, packages, hit the radio icon, hit update, and you're just going to hit continue and hit OK. And we can now see that that time has gone green. If we head back into it, we can also see that the price is the same, but the payment type has now been changed to package. During this process, what you might notice is that the payment type will change to package and the price would go down. So the price originally on the booking was £30, but the price then may automatically go down to, say, £28. The reason for that is potentially any packages you're selling through the store may work out cheaper per lesson than you're selling them as a one-to-one lesson booking. So let's say, for instance, you have a half an hour lesson which is £30, and you sell, let's say, £30 lesson booking would be 30 credits. Let's say you sold 180 credits on your store area, but you sold those 180 credits, which would be equivalent to 6 30-minute lessons. You sold those 180 credits for £150. That would then bring down the price per lesson that would appear here within the schedule. So don't be surprised if you apply a package and the lesson price goes down. Okay, so let's go into a couple of these red times again and just cover that again, mark them as paid. So Tony Roberts, this one we're going to decide that he's paid us through a chip and pin machine, a card machine. However, he paid us directly. So we're going to go change payment type. Sorry, we're going to go mark as paid, update, and hit save. There we go. And then the next one, let's see if they've got any vouchers or packages. None available. So let's say we're just going to mark it as paid, update, and again we're going to choose cash and hit save. There we go. So we now got all of those red times that have gone green. The system now knows that those lessons are marked as paid. So the schedule now is fully up to date. Let's now move across to the next week and explore a couple of other different bookings. Let's move across here and head to a class. So we've now got some classes here in the schedule, and let's go into that class and find out the attendees. So let's say, for instance, we are adding customers to a class, or potentially we're allowing customers to book themselves onto a class without making payment. If we have that pay at club option available, we then might receive payments from one of these customers for that class booking, but we need to go into the system and tell the system that that attendee has paid for their place. So a couple of things to be thinking about. If we go into that booking now, let's say Demo Basic here, who's booked onto this golf camp, has paid us directly £120 for that booking. So they've paid us cash or card or however we've arranged it. We need to go now and hit the paid option. which is just the tick box, and we hit update. And again, we're going to choose cash and hit save. And now that attendee now is marked as paid. You see here a checked in option. The checked in option would only be relevant for a front of house team that you have. So if you have a front of house team, like the golf shop team or reception area, they could use the checked in option to alert you as to whether a customer has arrived for their booking. So you're just going to use the paid option. So that demo basic customer now is marked as paid. And what we're now going to do is go into another booking. So let's go to this Saturday the 24th. See if there's an attendee in there, which there is. So within here we can also do the same as what we did in the one-to-one lesson booking. We can mark it as paid just like we've done, and we can also update the price amount. So let's say this booking for some reason has been adjusted to £70. We can go ahead and hit save, hit continue, and we can see that the class price has been updated successfully. So you can edit the price within that functionality there. Let's go ahead and mark it as paid, hit update, choose the cash and hit save. And we can also apply the same functionality when we wanted to change the payment type. So we can go in here, change payment type, process a payment card booking if we're linked to a merchant account, or if for any reason you're selling class vouchers or packages on your store, again, you can go and apply that through the same process in that section there. So let's go through the schedule again, see if there's any other areas that we want to explore. And let's go back to this one here, the 29th, and I'm just going to quickly mark it as unpaid just to cover one more scenario. Okay, so we're actually here on Wednesday the 31st, and we can see here we've got a red time, which was that demo level 2 booking. And we can see that it's marked as unpaid, it's red at the moment. So let's say, for instance, that the customer on the day only decided to have a 30-minute lesson. So what would be a really easy thing to do is to go in here and just adjust the price. So £40 is for a 45-minute lesson, but the customer only ended up taking 30 minutes. So we just adjust the price to cover that. However, what you need to remember in terms of the accuracy of your schedule is that the price may be correct. However, the lesson time is now incorrect. So this is really going to affect your price per lesson revenue, and it's also going to affect your capacity figures. So what you would need to do in this scenario, which brings us on to the next set of functionality that we need to be aware of, is that we actually need to go into this booking now, and we're actually going to go ahead and delete the booking. So to delete a booking in the schedule, all you need to do is go into the booking itself, and you're going to go down to delete lesson, and you're going to hit continue. And we can see now that that booking has been removed. So in that scenario, what we would then do is go back to the book a lesson option, choose book a lesson in the past, choose the same customer and the date, but we're going to go ahead and now just add a 30-minute option. And that booking was at 7 o'clock. And we can hit save. So if we go back to that schedule area, we can now go back into that booking. We've got the right price, we've got the right lesson time, and we can just mark it as paid. So we know now that the schedule is fully updated and it's going to be accurate in relation to all our reporting areas. We're now going to move on to look at how we would handle some scenarios within our schedule that may arise with bookings that have already been made by customers or by us in relation to moving and deleting lessons, and importantly how this would affect your lesson vouchers and credits in relation to lessons that are paid versus unpaid. So we've already simply handled how you would just simply delete a lesson booking, and the most simple scenario that will arise is a lesson booking that is in the diary. So this one here, Tracy Stubbs, which is currently unpaid. If Tracy wants to go ahead and simply delete the booking, she can no longer make that lesson booking. She doesn't want to rebook it, she doesn't want to move it to a new date, and she simply wants to delete the lesson. So that's a really simple scenario in that all we would need to do is go into the booking itself, and like previously, we just go ahead and hit delete. And that will remove the booking from the diary, and that's a really simple scenario to handle. If Tracy wants to go ahead and move the lesson, so she wants to move it to a new date, then that's also a really simple scenario to handle for paid and unpaid bookings. So let's go ahead and move Tracy's booking. So she's indicated she wants to move it to a new date. She wants to move it to the following Monday at 4 o'clock. So we can simply just go into that booking, and we're just going to choose the move lesson option. And all we need to do is select the new date, select the new time, and hit save. And we're going to see how that lesson has been moved across now to 4 o'clock. The only scenario that might occur is if a customer wants to move a lesson booking and they also want to change the time of the lesson booking. So what you're unable to do is you're unable to move the lesson time and adjust the time that is allocated for that lesson. So in that scenario, what you'd have to do is you'd have to go in and delete the lesson and then rebook it as a new booking in the booking system. So let's carry on using Tracy's booking here as an example. One of the things we need to be mindful of is with an unpaid lesson booking. So Tracy hasn't had her lesson yet. We haven't taken any payment for Tracy. If she wants to go ahead and simply delete the booking, it's really important that when we go into the booking modal here, that we don't use the reschedule option. So the reschedule option effectively will put that lesson time and credit back into Tracy's account. So if we were to go ahead here and hit reschedule and hit continue, the lesson is going to be removed. However, if we navigate now to the voucher section, you can see here that in our vouchers now, Tracy Stubbs has a rescheduled lesson. So in her account, if she logged on in the future, she would have a credit of 40 credits available in her account. So she'd be able to go in, use those credits against a booking, and the booking would be appearing as paid, which is obviously not what we want. So any lessons that are unpaid, get into the habit of moving them or simply deleting the lesson. Let's go back to the locker. So a couple of scenarios where that would be okay would be where we have a paid lesson booking. So the lesson could be marked as paid through a gift card. It could be marked as paid through a merchant payment, so by a debit or credit card on our merchant account. We could have received the payment directly as a coach, so we might have taken cash or processed a payment using a PDQ machine, or a customer may have used a gift card against a booking. So all of those scenarios, the customer is entitled to use that lesson in the future. So in that scenario, we would go in and let's find one of those bookings. Let's go with this one here, John Stevens. So John Stevens here, we can see how the booking is a package, payment type, and John wants to go ahead and simply delete that lesson. Cancel the lesson. He doesn't want to move it to a new date, but he wants to be able to use those credits in the future. So we just need to now go on reschedule, hit continue, and we now receive an alert saying that the lesson has been cancelled successfully and the voucher is sent. So if we now go back to the booking admin and go to the voucher section, John Stevens here, his credits have gone back into his account. So this figure here previously was 60 credits. We've cancelled a 60-minute lesson, so 60 credits has gone back into his account. In this next chapter of the training series, we're going to move on to look at the student section and some of the key ways in which you can manage and communicate with your students within the locker. So let's go across to the student section here in the header. And this is your student area homepage, and it will list all of the students that are associated with your coach account. These could have been students from a store purchase, a one-to-one lesson booking, or a class. So we have at the top here the upcoming lessons and previous lessons. You will mainly use this feature relating to lesson media, which we'll cover in a future chapter. If we navigate now down to the All Students section, at the top here we have some ways for you to find students and filter them in categories. So you can search for a student, you can add a student, and you can also search by categories for students. We have total students, one-to-one students, and group program students, or students who have participated in classes. We now have a list of students in front of us that will appear in a list view. We have the student name, handicap, group, and status. Status indicates whether that student has actively had a lesson or a class in the last 3 months. Keeping on top of your active and non-active students is a really useful way to making sure that you keep students booked into the diary, and you can keep your capacity and your lesson income numbers as high as possible. Let's go ahead and click on one of the students. We're now in the student profile section. This is an area that the student themselves has access to within their locker, and you as a coach can also edit. Let's look at a couple of the key areas within this section that you may want to get comfortable with. Firstly, you have a View Personal Details button. And this is a really useful way of you getting key information relating to that student, such as contact information, medical history, or injuries. You're also able to edit their full profile. It's within this section that your student can edit their profile prior to a lesson or after a lesson, or you as a coach could complete this with them on a consultation lesson. And it allows you to complete personal details, a player profile, and a medical profile. Within this section you also have 3 buttons, which are really useful functionality to use with a student. You have the option to book a lesson directly from this area. By clicking this option, it will go through to the booking system, and you can follow the same journey as we've covered previously, and it will fill in the necessary information at checkout for you to complete the booking. You're also able to recommend a customer a lesson. So potentially you have a specific lesson that you feel will be suitable to a customer, or you may have a class that you're running that you feel they may benefit from. By clicking recommend a lesson, the customer will receive a message that would look like this. And it will list the recommended lesson that you have sent them. The final piece of functionality within this section that you want to be using is the send message function. And within the send message functionality, you're able to send a message directly to that student's email address. And they can either communicate back to you via email or through the locker. And you can send them a message and a subject. And it will look something like this. Some of the other areas that you want to be using within this section are the previous lesson history and upcoming lessons, which will be listed in here. If you want to view a history of lessons that a customer has taken or lessons they have in the future, then this is a really useful way to do this. The final sections in here are where you're able to add pupil goals, and you're also able to use the skill creation section. And your customers and you can effectively rank your customers' skills out of 10 and provides a benchmark or a skills assessment for you to use in building a long-term relationship with your customer. This section will be covered more in one of our featured videos by our team. Let's go back to the student list. The next areas that you want to be using to manage and communicate with your students is the GDPR preferences section. If we go ahead and choose Coach Admin and choose Student GDPR, it's within this section that you will have a list of your customers, and it will tell you their GDPR preferences, which relates to data protection and how they want their data to be used. It's within this section that you can see whether they've agreed to the terms and conditions of your Academy's website and locker, whether they've agreed to receive email marketing, whether they've agreed to receive SMS marketing, and the date that this was completed. It's really important that you abide by these agreements. And just remember that if someone has agreed to receive email marketing or SMS marketing, they may have only agreed to receive this information from your Academy. They may not have agreed to receive this from you directly. You can consult with First Degree Golf Solutions team on further information relating to GDPR. Let's go back now to the My Locker area. The next section that we want to be getting used to using is the Vouchers section. It's within the Vouchers section that you're going to be able to see a list of vouchers and packages that your customers may have on account with you. Within this Coach Vouchers section, you will only see vouchers that are associated to you as a coach. So these will be ones that have been purchased through the store by a customer, or you have processed through the store, that are assigned to you, or have a same for all category. We cover this more in the store section. We can see within this section that we have a list of customers who have vouchers or packages associated with us. We're able to search for these customers or view them in a list. And we can see here that we have the type, the player name, email, contact information, the name of that lesson, importantly the purchase date, which may be important if you are having an expiry date to lessons, the relevant PIN number that will associate it to the booking system, the program type, duration, and then finally the count and balance. Count relates to the original amount of credits purchased or added to the locker, and the balance relates to the current balance of credits or vouchers on that pupil's account. So if you're selling packages of lessons through your store, you may have originally sold a count of 180, but a customer might have redeemed a 30-minute lesson, which means in the balance section it will show 150. Let's go back to the My Locker area. And the final section that we're going to cover in a later chapter is the messaging section. It's within the messaging section that you can communicate with specific students or groups of students, and it's a really useful way of engaging with your students and letting them know the great programs that you're offering. Finally, in the dashboard homepage or the My Locker homepage, you also have a total list of students, one-to-one students, group programs, and the ability to add a student through this area. We're now going to move on in this part of the training series to look at the local media section and the video vault and how this applies to your Coach Locker area. So we're here in the My Locker homepage, and the first thing I want to draw your attention to is the two sections here that sit below the reporting figures and the upcoming lessons section. we have a section titled My Videos and My Photos. And these two sections link directly to your local media area. The local media area can be found under Media in the header. Let's go through to the local media section. The local media section is essentially your own unique media section where you can upload media content such as notes, videos, photos and drills. You can build up your own bank of these media types and you can share these with your customers. During this part of the training series, we're going to show you how you would share these with your customers and what this would look like in your player's locker area. So to begin with, let's take a quick tour around the local media section. In the local media section, you have categories at the top: notes, videos, photos, and drills. Down the left-hand side, you have your filters. This directly links to the skill creation that is set up by your Academy Manager. In this area, you have categories. The categories that have been uploaded through the skill creation area are less than full swing, long game, mental skills, pitching, putting, shot shaping, and a miscellaneous category. We can see here in the shot shaping category that there has been some sub-filters set up. And the sub-filters are high, left to right, right to left. Therefore, what this allows you to do is when you add media to your local media, you can tag and categorize the video or the media that you're adding. So let's have a look at how we would add some of this media content and how we would then use it with our players. So I'm going to go ahead and add a note to start with. All we need to do to add a note is we're going to go across here to add note. And a note that we may add that might be relevant to our players is a note on how to practice a specific practice drill. So there we go, I've got my note, and I'm adding this to the local media section because I think it's a note that would apply to a lot of my players. And I don't want to repeatedly have to add this note every time I want to send it to a player. So I'm now going to assign it to a skill category. The skill category would be putting. And we're going to go ahead and hit save. So that note has now been added to that local media section in notes. So we can see here, notes, and the media type, we have one next to it. We're now going to go across to videos. And we're going to add a video to our local media. Through clicking the Add Video button, we now have to give it a title. I'm now going to add a description. I'm now going to assign it a skill category, which is going to be putting. I now have the choice to upload a file or a link from YouTube. So in this part of the training series, I'm going to add a file. So I now need to choose the video, and I have some videos ready to use. And we're going to go ahead and hit open. And we're just going to wait for the video to upload. So we now have our video that's been uploaded. And the final functionality we can use is to add a custom thumbnail. I'm happy with the thumbnail that's visible, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit save. And I've now just got a pop-up indicating that I'll be emailed once the video has been uploaded successfully. So an email will come through to your coach email address that's added to the coach management system, just indicating that the video has been uploaded successfully. So let's get rid of the modal and carry on with adding some media to our media section. We have now here on the left a new filter type that's appeared, the video section. And we've also now got a video that's appeared next to the category putting. So we can see now that the video has been uploaded. that we can see there. So let's actually now just go and look at what we could do with that video once it's been uploaded to the Video Vault. We can actually go into the video and we can do a number of things. We could recommend this video to one of our pupils. So again, we can click on the video, hit recommend, and choose a pupil. We can go ahead and hit recommend. And this media item will then be recommended to that player. They will receive a notification of that, and when they log into their Player Locker account, they will be able to see that media in their that video in the media section. We can also go ahead and delete that video if we wanted to, and the video will be removed from the media section. We can see there how now the video has been removed. So let's add a new video as we've deleted that one, and we're going to re-add the same video. Okay, so we have our video re-added now to the local media section. And we can build up as many of those videos into our local media section as we like. And we can obviously continue to add them to different categories that can be used. And the benefit really of using the local media section in this way is that you can continually build up a bank of videos or media that you feel that you would like to share with your customers. Rather than adding those videos each time to a customer's media section, you can build up this bank of media content that you can continually share with your pupils. So let's go across now to photos, and photos follows very much the similar process. Again, you're going to add a photo. You can give the photo a title. So I've got one prepared here. And I'm going to tag it as putting. Again, choose the file. We're just going to hit upload, and we can see now we've got the photo section added to our media type, and it will just need a few minutes to upload. There we go, we've got the video now that's visible under the category of putting. And again, we can do similar functions here with recommending that photo to a pupil, editing the photo itself, so the image, or changing the skill category, and deleting, and then we can close the pop-up modal. So let's now do the final one, which would be drills. And again, we can add a drill, give it a title, give it a category, this time long game, choose the file, and we can then tag it with one of our subcategories, and we can hit upload. And this one's going to take a little longer to upload as it's a video. You can see in the bottom left hand corner we've got that uploading bar, so we'll give that a bit of time just to upload. Okay, so we now have that video drill that we've added to the drill media type. We can see here down the left that we now have the drill section that's appeared with a 1 next to it, meaning in the drill section that video will shortly appear once it's finished uploading. And let's quickly go back and review what we've added. So we've added a note to the putting category. We've added to the video category a video tip or drill that we want to share with our customers. We've added a photo again to the putting category, and we added a drill as well to the long game category. There we go. So we're now going to navigate back to the My Locker section, and let's show you how that would now begin to appear on the home page of our locker. So here we've got our My Video sections. She's showing all the videos that have been added to the My Video section. This is the one that we added a moment ago. And we've now got a photo that's appeared in My Photos just here. So this gives you a quick view of the information of the videos or media that's visible within those two categories. So how do we start to now use that with our customers? And we're going to use that through adding the lesson media to classes or pupils' one-to-one lesson sections. So in order to do that, what we need to do is navigate across to students. And we now have our two sections at the top, upcoming lessons and previous lessons. So to begin with, let's add some lesson media to a previous lesson. We've had a lesson with a customer and we want to send them some media to review the contents of the lesson. And we can use the media that we've added to our media library to do that. So we're going to go ahead and choose Rob Warburton, myself. I've set myself up as a student. And we can see here that Rob Warburton had a one-to-one lesson on the 29th of July. And we're going to go ahead and add some media to that. So using the media that we've already uploaded to our media section, we can go ahead and choose some notes. So here I've got my note relating to the 9-in-a-row putting drill that I can add. And once I've added that note, we can see here it appears in lesson notes. And I'm going to assign it as a lesson tag for putting. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And those notes will be added to that student's lesson area, lesson media section. And I also want to add a video. So I'm going to go ahead and click on videos here at the top. And I can go ahead now and choose from existing videos, which is going to linking from our media library that we've added, which was this video here. And then we also have some other videos that are fed in from the video vault. But the only videos that will be fed in from the video vault, which we'll cover shortly, is videos that you, the coach, has added to that section. You won't see other videos added by other coaches. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that video we added. I'm going to hit submit. And we can see that it's been added from existing videos. And we can go ahead and hit submit. And we'll give that a little moment to upload. We can also add a photo. So again, we can choose the existing photo we uploaded, which was this one, the left to right putt trajectory. And we can add a description and hit submit. And finally, we can add the video from the drill section. So we added that video drill, hit submit. And in the drill section, we also have the ability to assign how many times we would want this student to practice this drill. And we can just go ahead and choose 10. We want the student to be practicing this drill 10 times in between now and the next time that we see them. And we're going to assign that one as a long game. And we're going to go ahead and hit submit. And the final section that we didn't have within our lesson media section is a document section. So we're able to add documents such as PDFs to the lesson media. And we're going to cover that in a moment when we do a separate lesson media review. So I've added all that information that I wanted to add. And I'm now going to go ahead and just hit save. There we go. And we've saved that media to that pupil's one-to-one lesson that they had with us. So let's slide across here and now look at the pupil area. So I'm going to go ahead and just refresh the page. And this is the pupil login area. So I'm logged in here under that student. So there we go, Rob Warburton. And this is what the pupil locker area looks like. And at the top here we have the lesson history. And the lesson history relates to the lessons that pupil has had with a coach. So we can see here it's a one-to-one lesson with Joe Bloggs on the 29th. And let's go ahead and click into that lesson itself. And now the customer is able to see that information that we shared with them. So we can see here we've got the note. Video hasn't appeared yet as it's uploading. Photos. And again, the drill is still uploading into that section. So the pupil is able to go in and view that lesson, view the lesson information that we're sharing with them. And it's a really good way to interact with your students, really add some added value to the lesson content that you're delivering. And is a nice way, obviously, to help your pupils to sort of progress on their journey with you. The pupil is also able to go into a media section, so they can go into local media. We can see here, and we can see that they have some content added to that media section that's been shared with them by the coach. So there's a video, photo, and drills, which are currently still uploading, as we've only just shortly uploaded the content to the feedback. Okay, let's go back across then to our media section, and we're going to cover now how we would add media from a file. So potentially we've filmed some new content in the lesson that was very specific to the customer. So let's go back to My Locker. And let's say, for instance, we've had a lesson with a customer. So let's go ahead to students, and we've filmed some very specific content or media that's only really relevant to that customer. So we don't really want to be adding that to the media section, as we're not going to share it with anyone else. But we want to make sure that that customer gets access to that media as well when they go in and look at the lesson feedback. So what we need to do now is we can go and find previous or an upcoming lesson. So you could add content prior to a lesson being delivered, or you could add it post-lesson, which is more than likely. And let's instead go and choose Tony Roberts, just here. And we can now start adding some content very specific to this customer. So we could add a lesson note. And you could almost sort of provide a text summary of what was covered in the lesson. Go ahead and hit save. And we can go to video section. Again, we've covered the existing video, but we can also add a video from our desktop. So let's go ahead and add this video tip. Hit open. We'll just give it a bit of time to upload. So that video has now been uploaded, and we just need to give the video a title. So let's say this was just a specific lesson summary video that we filmed, and the lesson was focused on putting. Go ahead and hit save. And we just need to go and hit submit. And it's just indicating that we'll be emailed, the coach will be emailed once the lesson media has been added. We can just go ahead and hit OK. And we could add, again, similar information to those sections at the top. So let's go ahead on this one and add a document. So we're going to go here, choose Documents, hit the plus icon, and I'm going to choose a PDF. So I've got a PDF here relating to how this customer might want to begin to think about practicing effectively. We can go ahead and hit open, and we can give it a category, hit save, and we just need to hit submit. We'll give it a description. There we go, we'll just hit submit. And we can see in the bottom left hand corner we've still got some media that's uploading, so we'll just give that a bit of time to finish. So that information is now finished uploading, and we can go ahead and hit save lesson. We're now going to move on to cover how you would add a video from YouTube to your local media section or to a customer's lesson media section. So I found the video that I want to use from YouTube, and importantly I've made sure I have permission to use this video. So hopefully it's a video that's coming from your own YouTube account and you think this would be relevant to customers within your locker system. And you now need to go across to the media and local media. And we're going to add this to either videos or drills. They're the two sections where we can add video content to. And let's go ahead and add video through the video section. And same process as before, we're going to give it a title. Give it a description. Choose the skill category. And instead of choosing file, we just need to now navigate to the YouTube radio button, and we just simply insert the URL, and we go ahead and hit save. And this will upload a lot quicker than adding a file, as it's being hosted on YouTube rather than being hosted on the servers of your website. And we can see now how we've got two videos now appearing in the video section, and we have one that's now appeared in the mental skills section, which we can see there. So this is our video now, which is linked from YouTube, and you can do the same features and functionalities as before, recommending, edit and deleting. And again, that's now added to your local media section. So if we went back to the My Locker homepage and go to students, and let's choose a student who's had a lesson. Let's go with Tony Roberts. And we can go ahead from the video section, choose an existing video, and we can see there we've got that YouTube video which has appeared. So let's go ahead and tick that one and hit submit. And we can just add a description for Tony. And hit submit. And again, the process of uploading will be quicker. See, the video has been added there. And we just need to hit save. And Tony will be able to go into his Locker account, view that video through his lesson media, or by clicking on the past lesson that he's had, which is this one on the 29th of July. So let's go ahead and head to one of our classes. We can do that using the arrow here in the upcoming lesson, or we could head across to the student section and it will also list in the upcoming lesson or previous lesson the class that we're looking for. So we have here a junior group class. Let's go ahead and click the arrow. And we now have our class, which will show two options: all group or demo basic. So we can choose whether we want to send some lesson media to the whole group or one of the students within the group. And also in this information we can view a register of those that are in the class. So at the moment there's only one student added to this class, so we could go ahead and choose to add this lesson media to a single student or to everyone in the group. Let's just choose all in the group, and the way in which you would do this is very similar. It's an identical process, to adding the media to a one-to-one lesson. So again, you can add notes that may be reviewing the contents of the class. You can add the video content from either your existing media or a file from your computer. You could add photos, again, from the media library or from your desktop. You can add drills and you can add documents. And same process as before, you can assign that media to a certain lesson tag, and you would go ahead and hit save lesson, and every class member would be able to review that information. So it's a really good way, again, of communicating with all of the customers that are attending your classes, reviewing the contents of lessons, and really adding that value and building the connection with your students. We're now going to move on to look at how the Video Vault section differs from the local media section and the way in which you can use this as a coach and add videos to this section. So in the media section at the top, we have two options: Video Vault and local media, which we have covered in a previous part of this training series. The Video Vault differs in that this can be restricted depending on pupil member level. So within the Locker system, there are 4 member levels, and your Academy Manager can assign different features and benefits to different member levels. So this may be through the store where your Academy Manager or yourself will be selling Academy memberships, or this may be being managed in the back-end system where features and benefits might be being passed on to members of your golf club, for instance. So the Video Vault section differs from the local media in that anything that's added to the Video Vault will be visible to those who have access to the Video Vault within their member level. When you add content to the Video Vault, the video content that's added to this section needs to be approved by the Academy Manager, which is covered in the Academy Manager training series. Any Video Vault content that you add as a coach will also be accessible through the local media section for you to use with specific pupils. However, you won't be able to use any video content that's added by other coaches. So let's just show you what that would look like on a customer's account. So let's firstly in Coach go into Video Vault and show you what it looks like. And the Video Vault is made up of three different sections. We have a featured video, or a tip of the week, which is titled here, and those with access will be able to watch that video. You also have two sections. This one is entitled TV shows and short tips, and if we were to enter one of these sections, we're going to see here how we have the venue, the list of coaches, categories, and the videos that are added to those categories. So your customers who have access are able to watch video content from your coaching team as part of their member level. If we go across now to a student account and we go into My Locker, this is what a student account would look like, and this student doesn't have access to the Video Vault section. If we go here into the X, or the plus icon, and we click on membership, this member has a basic account member level. Therefore, if we navigate down the page, we can see how the Video Vault isn't accessible. They're only able to see one Video Vault video, which has been restricted by the Academy Manager, but they're unable to enter the Video Vault as they do not have access to this within their membership. This customer is able to upgrade the membership if this is enabled via the store area. If the customer is going to click on the Video Vault section, then they wouldn't be able to get access to this page. So as a coach, the main functionality that you'll need to be aware of is how to add a video to the Video Vault section. All you need to do is go into Video Vault, and you just need to remember that the two sections are their own independent sections within the Video Vault. So if we add some content to the TV show section, it will not appear in the short tip section. So the content will need to be added to both sections if that applies. So to add a video to each section, you would just need to go into the area itself by hitting enter, and in the top right hand corner you're going to have an add video button, and we can see how it's going to go into the section here, the short tips section, and you can go ahead, change the title, or add the title of the video, add a description, and the venue will always be the venue that you see in the drop down. Skill category that you're going to put that in, which would be designated by your Academy Manager, would be putting. You can choose the coach, so only going to apply to myself as a coach, and I can then choose whether I'm going to add a file or a video from YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and add a video, and I'm going to choose this one, video tip 1, hit open, and we're just going to wait for the video to upload. So we can now see that this video has been uploaded and the thumbnail has been added from the video file itself. We could choose to go ahead and add a custom thumbnail by clicking the custom thumbnail button and choosing the correct dimensions as an image from our desktop that we can see there, and the dimensions are indicated here just below the thumbnail, 240 pixels by 180. But I'm going to go ahead and leave that as the thumbnail, and I just need to decide which category I want to add this to. I've already decided it's a skill category, putting, and I can now choose to tag it as one of the sub filters, and I'm going to add it into reading greens. And the last thing we then do is just hit save, wait for it to upload, and we now have a pop-up just indicating that the video has been sent to our manager for approval, and we can just go ahead and hit OK. So we're going to go ahead and quickly approve that, show you how it would look like. So we're back now in the My Locker section. Let's go ahead and go back into Video Vault, and we can see now how that video has been approved by the manager, so it's now appearing within the TV section, which is where we added it. and we assigned it as a putting video in reading green. So we can see now how that video is live on the video vault. Any customers with access to that will be able to watch the video itself. And we can also go back into that video, as we're the ones who added it, and edit some of the information. Again, this would need to be approved by the Academy Manager. We're now going to move on to, in this chapter of the training series, look at how we would use the store area. And we're logged in here under our coach account. And what we need to do to use the store area is we need to go into the top menu, and we're going to go ahead and choose store. And let's firstly just provide a quick show round and an overview of the store areas. So the store area is largely controlled by the Academy Manager. And the Academy Manager is able to add categories, sliding banners, and products to the store. They're also able to create discount codes that can be used by customers or by you as the coach within specific categories, coaches, or products. So as a coach, the main ways in which you'll be using the store, it is more than likely that you're just going to be applying credits or packages and vouchers to customers' accounts. And you can therefore manage these credits, vouchers, when customers are making bookings, and you can manage these within your coach account. So what we're going to explore here is how you would process a product and how you would then see that those vouchers or credits have been applied to that pupil's account. So let's, to begin with, go to one of our categories, and we're going to go to the one-to-one and swing studio category. So to do that, we can use the category at the top here in the gold bar, or we can choose a category from the home page sections below. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the one-to-one and swing studio category. What you will notice is the categories within the store will correspond to the program categories within the booking system. Therefore, if a customer or you as a coach processes a product under the one-to-one and swing studio category in this example, those vouchers or lesson credits can be applied in the program category one-to-one and swing studio. If we process a product in the your coaching facility area, those packages or vouchers can be applied in the your coaching facility 1 on the program category within the booking system. As discussed, these will all be set up by your Academy Manager. So let's go ahead and find a product. And we're going to go find one of the products that's been added under our coach name. So 150 credits with Joe. So let's go ahead and click the product. And to do that, you can hit the title or you can hit the image. And what we've got here is we've got the header, a description, and then a drop-down menu with the coach. As the product has been set up as a specific product with you, the coach, you are going to be the only coach available from the drop-down. If we go ahead and choose the coach, the price will now appear. And if we're going to process that product with that price, we're just going to simply go to Add to Cart. We'll get rid of this one that's left over in the basket. And we can see here now in the shopping cart we've got the product, the price, the quantity, and the total. And if all of that information is correct and we don't need to make any amendments to those prices, we just need to go ahead and we're going to choose whether the customer is agreeing to receive email marketing, SMS, and agrees to the terms and conditions and privacy policy. As the customer has more than likely paid you directly for a coaching product, they're agreeing to the terms and conditions of your academy or your coaching business, and therefore you can go ahead and hit OK. And once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and hit checkout. And we now get into the checkout page. And you as a coach are able to choose a student that exists within your locker system as a current customer, or you're able to add a new player. So let's go ahead in this example and choose a current student. We're going to go ahead and add this package to the customer Tracy Stubbs. And we're going to go ahead now and hit continue. We can confirm the billing address, and if we want to, we can create a new address. We'll go ahead and hit continue. The payment method is going to be Pay at Academy, so this customer has paid me directly for these lessons, so I've already received the money by an alternative means. So we can choose the Pay at Academy option, and we can hit continue. And the final page is then just confirming the payment information. We'll go ahead, continue, and confirm the order. We'll give that a second. And that has now been processed. And what we can do now is we can go back into our coach admin section, select vouchers. And let's type in Tracy's name. And there we go, we can see that those credits have been added to Tracy's account, and us as a coach can apply those credits during the booking process. So let's head back to the store and let's process one more product. So we're going to go ahead and choose a slightly different product. Let's go ahead and choose the category 1-to-1 and Swing Studio again. And we'll go ahead and select this one here, 300-minute bulk purchase. And we see in the drop down now that this is a product specific to an amount of coaching time. And within our academy, there are 2 coaches that are offering these products. Coach number 2 is charging £280 and Joe Blogs is charging £320. So I'm going to go ahead and process this product under my coach name, Joe Blogs, and we're going to go ahead and hit add to cart. And let's go ahead and click OK and check out. And this time we're going to process this under a new student. So we've got a customer who has paid us for a lesson package but hasn't yet had a lesson at the academy, so they don't exist within the system. And we're going to go ahead and choose from the drop down add new player. And now we need to create that customer's account. So we're going to fill in this information. And you may not have all of this information, but if you do, try and fill it in the best you can. We'll add an email address. And we're going to create them a username. You can use this functionality here to check whether that username is already on the system, which it isn't. The username is available. And then we're going to go ahead and create them a password. And the customer will receive a confirmation of an account being created for them. And on this email, it will list the username. So with your customers, you just need to inform them that in order for them to access their account, you either need to inform them of the password that you set up for them, or they're able to retrieve and create a new password by using the email address registered here under the email address section and the username. So they can create a new email address with that information, create a new password, sorry, with that information. And then we're just going to go ahead and add an address. Postcode. And then all we need to do is go ahead and hit continue. There we go, and all the information has been inputted successfully. And we just need to confirm that the billing address is correct. Hit continue. Continue again. And then finally we'll confirm the order. There we go, and it's been processed successfully. We now go back to our vouchers section. can see there that the customer has been created and the credits have been added to that customer's account. So this product here was set up as a credit option, so it's added 300 credits to that customer's account. So we're now going to move on to look at how we would process a gift card code to a product within the store area. So this scenario may occur where a customer has been bought a gift card amount through your Academy store, and the customer wants to apply this gift card code or amount to a specific coaching product. So potentially they don't want to book the session into the schedule at present, however they want to spend the gift card amount on one of your coaching products within the store. So in order to do that, we need to head to the store area, and we're going to go ahead and find one of the coaching products. So let's go ahead and process one of the one-to-one and swing studio options, and we're going to go ahead and choose the 90-minute lesson experience. We'll go ahead and add to cart, and we're going to go ahead and agree to the terms and conditions. And we're just going to choose the order discount section before processing the product. And we now need to enter the code into the gift card code section. And you would have been provided by the code hopefully by your customer, or this can be retrieved from your Academy manager. And we now need to just go ahead and hit add gift card. There we go, and we can see how the gift card has been applied. £100 has been deducted from the price. And we'll just update the quantity so it's only got one. There we go. So we can see how the total of the product was £100. We already had a discount code that was in that section from a previous part of the training chapter. And we've then applied the gift card code here, and that's deducted £90 from the gift card, and it says there's £10 remaining on the customer's gift card. And the total therefore is £100. So we can go ahead and process that by hitting checkout, and the credits would then be added to the customer's account. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll hit checkout. We're going to choose one of our players. Let's go with Tony Roberts. Hit continue. And we'll go back to the coach voucher section. And there we go, we can see how those lesson credits have been added to Tony Roberts' accounts. He's got 90 lesson credits there, and he's used the gift card code to add those credits to his account. So let's move on now to look at how you would apply a discount code to a product that you may be processing on behalf of a client in the store area. So we'll navigate back to the store, and let's find one of our products. We're going to go ahead and choose the product here, 90-minute lesson experience. And it may be that currently your coaching business or your academy is running a promotion on this coaching product. And we need to make sure that once we process the product and add it to a customer's account, that the price that is put into the system is correct to maintain the accuracy of your reporting. So let's process the product like before. So we're going to go ahead and add to cart. And once we head into the shopping cart area, this is where we need to ensure that the price the product is being purchased for by the customer is correct. So we're going to go ahead and agree to the terms and conditions. Before hitting checkout, we're going to go to the section order discount. And we have two sections here. An option to enter a gift card code, which we'll look at in a moment. And we have an option to enter your coupon code. And this is where you would enter the discount code that may be provided to you by your academy manager or within a marketing campaign. and you're just going to go ahead and input that discount code and click apply. And we can see now that the discount for this promotion has been deducted from the total, so £10, and the price is now £90. So once we process that booking, it means that the price will be correct for the amount of credits or vouchers that are being assigned to that customer's account. In the next part of the training series, we're going to move on to look at the messaging section. We've already covered in previous parts of the training series how you can send messages to particular students. However, there is a designated messaging section for you to do this, or for you to engage with other coaches or groups of students or coaches. So let's go across to the messaging section here in the top right hand corner. So we're now on the messaging homepage. And we see here a copy of all of the automated emails that have been sent to us, or messages that we have received from students. Along the top we have 5 sections: the ability to create a new message, view all of the messages in our inbox, sent messages, messages in the trash, or contact groups. To begin with, let's take a look at contact groups. We're able to group our students within our locker into particular contact groups, and this may be useful for you to promote particular coaching programs or classes, or other key information that you want to get across to groups of students. So let's go ahead and create a couple of contact groups. So I'm going to go ahead and create the first one. I'm going to create my first group as Junior Academy Parents. I'm going to go ahead and select a couple of these. So I've decided that all of these students that I've ticked will go into my Junior Academy Parents, and I'm going to click Add to Group. We can see now that the contact group has been created, and we can edit that group again, or we could delete the group using the 2 icons. I'm going to go ahead and add one more. And I'm going to go select a couple of these. And I'm going to hit Add Group. So we can see now how we have our 2 contact groups created: Junior Academy Parents and Single Figure Golfers. So let's go back now to the messaging homepage. And we're now going to look at how we would create a new message. So let's go here and add and create new by clicking new on the icon. And this is where we're now creating a new message. So we have 2 options. We can send an individual message, or we can send a message to a contact group. Let's start by selecting an individual message. So as we scroll down the page, we have a To section. We're unable to click the cursor within the To section. We have to add students to this section. So to do that, we just go to Choose Contact on the right, and we choose the students from the drop down. We could select 1 student, or we could select multiple students. And we could also select single coaches or multiple coaches. Or if we wanted to send a message to all students or all coaches, we would tick the relevant buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and just choose to send a message to myself. We can see now how I've been added to the To section. I'm now going to add a subject and then a message. There we go. And I can then add a file. So I can click the X and I can choose the file from my desktop. So let's go ahead and add an image. And once completed, I can then go ahead and hit send. And that message has now been sent to that student. And we can view that within the Sent section. Within the sent section, it shows us a copy of the email that has been sent to the customer. So we can click view, and it will show us a view of the image that's been sent to the customer. So we can see here that it's got the subject, the content, and the attachment. So let's go back to create a new message. And this time we're going to create a group message. And we can see now we have a drop down where we can select our contact group. So I'm going to go ahead and select Junior Academy Parents. And we can see now that it's added all of those students to the to area. And I'm going to change the subject. There we go. And we can add a file if we wanted to. And we're then going to go ahead and hit send. So your customers would then receive an email of those two messages, and they will be able to reply via email, or they will be able to reply through the messaging section. You will be alerted to any incoming messages that you receive via email, and again you can engage with your students via email or through the locker.